Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and right on cue, all the haters came attacking the channel. Of course they did, because of the last video on Doctor Who over Jinx Monsoon and their craziness and whatnot. But we now have official numbers to start with, and just how well things are actually going for this brand new Doctor Who. You know, the black gay Doctor Who, because that's how they want to keep introducing him, the first black and gay doctor. Why is that so important? This is the funny thing. The people who commented on the last video about Doctor Who were like, why does it get to you so much? Who hurt you? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, why do you feel it's so important to every time you announce this guy, he's announced as the first black gay doctor instead of just he's the new doctor? What, you see what I mean? Well, here's the thing. Ncuti Gatwa, and not just Ncuti Gatwa, but dickhead here, none other than Jinx Monsoon. Well, they did that little thing that everyone does lately, which is tell the audience, don't watch, go touch grass, leave the room, it's not made for you anymore. Well, they were absolutely right about that, because people did go outside and touch grass, clearly because the ratings are in for this show, and they're not good, because the first two episodes managed to only pull in an overnight number of 2.6 million and 2.4 million.
Oh, come on! Oh, what happened? Oh no, how terrible. That's just awful. How terrible. Oh no.
Yes. So between the first two episodes, it lost 2,000 viewers from episode 1 to episode 2 that aired together. And not just did it do piss poorly in the ratings, it also is getting trashed on the actual Doctor Who TV page as well. Yes, it's not just the hardcore fans and the original fans, you know, the ones you all like to call now bigots and homophobes and all that crap. The actual Doctor Who site, which does these numbers, courtesy from the BBC, called the first episode a lackluster and dumbing down of the show. Yeah, they literally said, like, look at this, overall Space Babies was a weak start to this new era. Let's hope it gets better. Oh, I already know the answer to that. Besides, I don't have, and this person reviewing this, saying this is what the Doctor's kind of saying in these episodes, and the rebuke to it, the Doctor apparently says, I don't have a purpose or a course or a mission. Really? Does saving the world not count? Apparently not. No one like me exists, except for the 14th Doctor and seemingly all the boy-generated Doctors, which is something they apparently just killed off or something. And it just goes on and on. So it's not doing good. Then they even call it lackluster, saying Space Babies stands as a lackluster addition to Russell T Davies' series openers. This part is interesting in this. The episode's rushed attempt to cater to new audiences results in an overload of exposition that will surely bore audiences already familiar with the franchise. Despite a couple of moments of intrigue, the overall execution falls short. That is from the actual Doctor Who BBC page. So that's not all of us on YouTube coming out and saying this. No. And then, of course, what did you have? You had Ncuti Gatwa telling everyone that they're homophobic and racist and towards the backlash and stuff and blah, blah, blah. Turn off the TV and go out and touch grass. And clearly everyone did, because that's how it started, and how it's going is Ncuti Gatwa says he feels sad for those tuning out of the new season of Doctor Who because it's a push for diversity. Well, you tell people to do this, and this is what people went and did. And by the way, the ratings, the reason for the ratings being bad, oh yeah, they're pulling excuses out of the absolute darkest, deepest ends of their assholes. Because the excuse they are using for why it has bombed and bombed hard is because the weather was nice.
How about new?
Yes, so the weather was nice, so that's why no one watched Doctor Who. Even though it would have been on at like 9 o'clock in the evening. You wouldn't really be outside. Still gets cold this time of year when it gets dark. So how about, as Dr. Evil said, how about no? How about this genius over the weekend? This one was fantastic. Because we had this moron who works for Metro UK, who, Azieya, however you pronounce her name, I don't mean to butcher her name, but it's a name that's awkward, who posted on the Metro Twitter page saying, "Sorry, straight white men, Doctor Who was never made for you." And this was part of her article. That was the headline for her article over at Metro. But she put that up as well, or Metro did, I should say, on X. However, it got community noted. And not just did it get community noted, because when you went back and checked, the entire account is gone. They deleted the entire account.
You serious?
And not just did they delete that account, but her own Twitter account has of course gone to protected. And it's funny because when you looked at her article, one of the parts she says at the very end is how it was actually made for everybody. Every single person that's ever lived, this show was made for. And yet your title and what you were pushing in the article is it was never made for straight white men. Yeah, doesn't quite work. But then we have a look at this part. So there's articles that we'll look at about what's actually happening with these numbers, and another response from Jinx Monsoon. So this part says, after Ncuti Gatwa told potential Doctor Who viewers to not watch the show and turn off the TV, overnight ratings appear to indicate that many took his advice, as the numbers are terrible. Doctor Who TV reports that the first episode, Space Babies, only managed to bring in 2.6 million viewers on the BBC, while the second episode, The Devil's Cord, saw viewership decline to 2.4 million. This is nearly a 50% decline in viewership for both episodes compared to Ncuti Gatwa's debut episode in the Christmas special, The Church of Ruby Road. The BBC reported the special saw viewership hit 4.7 million in overnight numbers, which by the way was also the worst Christmas special numbers in the history of the show as well. So that means Space Babies saw viewership decline by just shy of 45% compared to Church of Ruby Road. The Devil's Cord saw viewership decline by just shy of 49%. This massive decline in viewership comes in the wake of the Church of Ruby Road already setting records for terrible viewership. Gatwa's debut ratings are the second worst in the show's entire history. In fact, Jodie Whittaker's debut episode, The Woman Who Fell to Earth, had overall viewership of 10.96 million viewers. So you're saying it's doing terribly. And of course, the funny thing about the Christmas special numbers, where it comes in at 4.7 million in the overnight, is they waited almost an entire month to put in the actual numbers. So they were waiting and doing everything they could to boost those numbers. So when they eventually released it, it was like, oh look, it did 7 million. It's like, you waited over a month to put those numbers out. Yeah, you messed around with them. But then we get to Jinx Monsoon, who had this response to this question. What kind of response to Maestro are you expecting from the traditional Doctor Who fans? What a weird way to ask the question. But here's his answer. Russell T Davies brought Doctor Who to everyone. He brought it back because he was passionate about it. To start with, Russell T Davies did not bring Doctor Who to everyone. Doctor Who came out in 1963 and was created by Sidney Newman, C.E. Weber and Donald Wilson. And nothing to do with Russell T Davies. But anyway, to the people who have issues, the show that you love was created by a queer person. Wrong. Get over it. A lot of people are going to really love this, and I think this season is going to create a lot of new Doctor Who fans, not judging by the viewership numbers. And if we lose some of the transphobic ones, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Oh, they didn't, trust me. There's a lot of toxicity around the gender and the trans conversation. In the 70s, it was the conversation of queerness, the gay conversation. We overcame it once and we'll overcome it again. This guy's talking about the 70s. He's 36. Yeah, he's 36. What the hell would he know about it? So, to the people who are upset about it, boo-hoo, cry your fucking tears. It's not your world exclusively. We all live here, so get over yourselves. Well, to everyone who is calling this crap out and you's losing your minds about it, including on my page and stuff, we would like to also say to you, boo-hoo, keep crying because the show is failing because you are not going to support this show. Where are you all? Where's the tens of thousands, the hundreds of millions of queer, trans, vis, fat, day, dems, beep, bop, boops? Where are yous all? Why aren't yous out there supporting the show? Why aren't yous getting those overnight numbers in the hundreds of millions of views? It's almost like you don't actually watch any of this type of stuff. You don't buy the merchandise. You don't invest in the TV time. You don't go see these things in the cinemas. You don't buy the t-shirts. You don't get the collector DVD sets. It's almost like you just want representation put in there. And as soon as it is, you walk away to the next thing. Because why else do all of these things fail? They fail because yous do not support it. You just cry and cry and cry as loud as you can to get represented on all these things, and then you walk away from it. You never stay and actually watch the thing. You never invest your time into it. You don't buy the comics. You don't buy the DVDs. You don't buy the Blu-rays. You don't buy the collectibles, the t-shirts, any of the merchandise, the tickets to the movies. You don't do any of it. You just want it in there, and then if it fails, it fails. Doesn't matter to you because you just walk away going, hey, at least we changed it. It's so ridiculous. So, these fucking clowns told the world, don't watch. Go outside. Touch grass. And the world said, no problem. And now your show has failed to the point that even the Doctor Who rating system on the BBC has even said the first 2 episodes are dumbed down and lackluster and rushed too hard, too fast to try and take on a new fan base. I.e., they got rid of the old fan base thinking they were bringing in the new fan base. Except there's a big problem with that. There's no such thing as the new fan base. Because as I just explained, they want this stuff in there, and once it is, they walk away. They do not support any of it. So, when this thing ends up probably getting cancelled, or Ncuti Gatwa gets fired, you know, they won't say it's fired, but they'll say, oh, he's moving on to new pastures and whatnot. It'll be because none of you supported it. All you are calling all of us the bigots and the haters and stuff. Yous are the ones who didn't support it. Yous are the ones who made the numbers fail, and therefore, yous are the one that we're gonna say, boo-hoo, get over it. So, with that, I'll leave it there for this one. So cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.
So long!